Hello everybody and welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Ben from What Culture Gaming. This is Peter from What Culture Gaming. We're at EGX 2017. The PlayStation booth is behind us. We have just played what we think might be our game of the show potentially. What do you know about bombastic, silly Frenchman David Cage?
I know that he is bombastic, silly and French and a man. He's called David Cage and he does kind of weird, fairly everything's either black or blue, slightly depressing, or serious, intense stories. And I must admit, it kind of made me worry about Detroit in terms of, because I'm not actually into the Heavy Rain style on the whole. And I was like, am I going to like this? I like the concept, just the one line sort of elevator pitch, but it's David Cage.
I loved Heavy Rain, big fan of Heavy Rain. I've since gone back and played, what was his first one? Fahrenheit in the US and in the UK. Fahrenheit in the UK, Indigo Prophecy in America. Yes. Right, if you want to get serious about this. Right. And I actually really liked Beyond Two Souls, even though I could appreciate that it was actually a bit crap. Right. This obviously his newest game. I think it debuted at E3 a couple of years ago with that hostage negotiation scenario that we just played. Yeah. And then since they've shown other stuff, which I didn't think looked quite as good, because David Cage likes you to go between various characters and various perspectives. Mm-hmm. So this one we were playing as the hostage negotiator.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I think immediately you are thrust into what I felt was a very real, believable scene, like the mocap that they've done on even just like SWAT teams running around the room and stuff. It just felt completely immersive and real to me. And the music, like the swelling of the music, even as like you're not even gone out onto the roof yet, and you're just investigating the room to see what's been going on and get a bit of info. And it was like surround sound, like they were fairly shoddy headphones, but it just felt really...
It's all just so dynamic. You walk in there and it says, oh, the negotiator has arrived, and like the people are walking across. It's a really busy scene because he's out on the rooftop and you're just walking into like the apartment on the top floor. It's brilliantly acted, which I think David Cage has learned a lot about, because he's had some really, really wonky actors before. Then he went all the way in the other direction and got actual celebrities, and real-life Gollum man Willem Dafoe was in Beyond Two Souls, as well as Ellen Page.
Green Goblin, the man who...
Actual Green Goblin.
The man who the Green Goblin's mask was based on.
Yeah, Green Goblin just wears a Willem Dafoe mask, is Willem Dafoe. But this time it looks like they're going with, you know, just very good actors, not necessarily celebrity names. Yeah, the music was amazing. You walk in there and everything feels really intense. You go around, you scan the environment. It's still got that very David Cage game, but also, you know, this was a problem with Until Dawn as well, which also did similar stuff. Issue where you see a little prompt come up to interact with something, and you just sort of walk into it and you walk past it, and then you have to turn around and walk around so it pops up again, which is a bit awkward, but that's just, you know, that just comes hand in hand with what you get. But your little meter filled up, didn't it, in terms of your chance of success, as you found out about the scenario, why he might want to hold this daughter, you know, captive over the edge of the roof and threaten to drop her or whatever, and then you went out to finally confront them.
Yes, Ben, you went to confront the man on the roof, and as you say, your probability of success was building up the more info you get. So that adds an instant replayability level. You can sort of choose to examine what you want. You might not find certain things, so you might be like looking around a room going, God, I'm only at like 60% probability of success here. I would suspect, and I don't know for sure, but I think it probably all ends the same way in that demo. That's not to say that the game is going to have like a tree of options that all converge down to one.
How did it end for you? How did your negotiation go?
I largely tried to just be very chill with him, fairly compliant, until because he said like, get rid of your gun. I picked the gun up. I don't know if you did. Yeah. He said, get the helicopter to fly away. It's making me, I don't like the noise. I was like, okay, fine. Then he said, I want a car. I want everyone to leave. This is a gun in his hand. And I want to drive the girl out of the city, then I'll let her go. And at that point I was like, nah, you're not doing that, mate.
Did you just straight up say no, or did you try and compromise with him?
No, I said no. I said, you're not getting in that car with that girl.
How did it end for you?
At that point, he was at 99% success likelihood. And he didn't like that and said, I'm sick of taking orders from everyone. And he leapt off the building, and then there was a QTE where you had to mash X and grab the girl, and you push her on as you fall off the building.
Yeah.
And that's how it ended for me.
Now, I agreed when you said it probably all ends the same way, but I had a very different experience, Peter Austin. I went out onto the rooftop, and I imagine, like you, I was shot immediately in the arm. He's like, "Go away! I'm gonna kill her! Oh boy!" Because he's Morty now.
Right.
I slowly made my way towards him, trying to be really sympathetic and nice. I said there were options assigned, the dialogue options assigned to the face buttons, and there were ones that unlocked themselves based on information that I found, like, oh, they were looking to replace you. Oh, I thought you were the girl's best friend. She would never betray you, and so on. So I slowly walked towards him, and I meandered over to the police officer who was down on the floor.
He needed first aid.
And he needed first aid, and he said, "Don't save him, or I'll shoot you." You were like, "He's losing blood," and you can either reject that or do it, or just give up and leave him be.
Comply, and I left him.
Oh, I didn't.
Right.
I didn't, and my guy said, "You can't kill me. I'm not alive." And I just put a thing round his arm, and like my success rate went down just by like 1%.
Mine went up for being compliant. It went up by like 20%, but 1% is not a big sacrifice to save a man.
It's not really. I imagine that would come back in a good way as well. So then I walked over to him, and I was on his side. I got the helicopter to go away, and then it got to the point where he said, "Oh yeah, I want to get in a car, and I want to walk away," and so on and so forth. And I chose to compromise. Yeah, and basically I said, "Look, that's not going to be possible. That's not going to be possible. But I promise no one will hurt you." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And we went down that route, and eventually he released her. And then was immediately shot by all of the snipers. And as he died, he said, "You lied to me." And I imagine that would come back to bite me in a big way. But I think there's a huge scope for how that would meander and play as it went on and stuff like that.
Because if that gets out, if the press release how it went down, it might get out there that, oh, this negotiator lies about stuff. Yeah. And then going forward, if you're in a similar situation, it might say, well, I heard what you did to that guy. You promised he wouldn't be hurt, and he got gunned down. So I'm not going along with you.
Well, it's also about like Android rights and so on and so forth. And the thing we were shown at E3 most recently was like Androids setting a load of Androids free and trying to liberate them. So if you're playing as this guy who's like, I'll lie in order to get the results that I want, that kind of stuff, even though I didn't know they were going to shoot him. That was, that would come back to haunt me if another character then comes in and says, well, you're an enemy of the android, so you're going to get killed.
That's the interesting thing with some of these things. It's like a one-word idea with a face next to a face button, and you're like, how's that actually going to go down? Like the word compromise.
It's difficult to know in this. I imagine if we're playing the full game, it'll become clear, like where various sides are coming into things. But at least in our demo, we sort of just had to just say what we thought would get the result.
I mean, I'm not even suggesting it's a flaw. I think it's an interesting part of the strategy to be like, it's a bit of a risk me choosing the option to compromise, because I might be about to say, all right, you can shoot the girl, but then hand yourself in. Or unlikely, but you see what I mean.
I loved that in a very black and white way, we both got mission complete, even though your guy died going off the roof and saved the girl. And my guy lied and got the android killed. It was still mission complete because the mission was to save the girl. And obviously that's just one character and one scenario, so it could all go to crap and it could be rubbish.
Maybe.
It's David Cage, but the acting was brilliant, the music was brilliant, the whole investigating around and like crouching down and feeling like an investigator who's really important. It was amazing, really good.
Incredibly immersive, incredibly engaging, and I'm definitely so far calling it my game of the show. We're yet to play Star Wars, but we'll see.
That queue is very long.
Oh, God.
Let's go and get in it. For more on EGX 2017, make sure you stay subscribed to What Culture Gaming. Until then, though, when we do the Star Wars, I've been Ben from What Culture Gaming.
I've been Peter from What Culture Gaming.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.